welcome to another episode of the Babbling Heads Podcast. We have myself perspective here. We've got DJ Fingers. I don't know why he took it on the mad. He's still mad as fuck. And we've got
Crazy, man.
I was just a DJ now. Oh shit! Now we've got Shaq in the house.
Are we, mate, sir?
And we've got a special guest today. He's been a friend to the circle for quite a while. I don't know about these other guys, but he's my brah. With no further ado, producer, MC, spoken word artist, goes by the name of Nama Xam, aka J7, aka the chef. He's a bit round around the waist, so maybe he can cook up something. Nah, I'm just playing. Ladies and gentlemen, Nama Xam.
Awe, tita ke Nama Xam, tita ke koi nin push, man.
Yeah, so what have you been doing of late?
Me, I've been a daddy, man, bro. That's like my priority at the moment. But musically, you know how it is with the hip-hop thing, nah? You, like, once it got you. It got you for life, man, bro. So I've been doing music. I'm busy with my own album now, 29 years later. And
Now there was no timeline.
I'm ready now to do it. That's
Exactly.
my done. I'm ready to do it now. And there's a disclaimer. I'm unapologetic for what I feel and what I want to express right now. So it is what it is.
It is.
But yeah.
So what's the like? I mean, you that intro that you just gave us now. You said a few words in a language that's supposed to be one of the official languages. Shaq always reminds us it's on the coat of arms as well,
Yeah.
but yet it's not on there. You a proponent and a person that pushes the Nama language.
Nah, man. Look, when I started in hip hop, and I started with American twang because we were following, and there came a point where you started journeying on your own. And then, with the Universal Zulu Nation Cape Town chapter, you found out about find out who you are, knowledge of self. And I went to go find out by my topi, by my daddy, and I found out he was a Nama man. So, and that's something that was hidden to me for many years. And besides that, also, I was fortunate to meet these beautiful people that were able to instruct me on a culture that I was supposed to know, but didn't know because, the situation in South Africa, the colonizing mentality, So I took my name. Look, I doubted I'll ever change the name that my mother and my father gave me because the power of those names is my father and my grandfather's name, which is grandfather on my mother's side's name. So I won't change that. The surname is obviously still the slave thing, And I found out that, I went through many different names. Like you only mentioned quite a few of them.
Yeah.
But it was Black One Syllabic J7. It was first Nama San, but then I realized that San was a derogatory term to Bushman.
Okay.
Because I always believe you say what you want to be called. So if somebody's giving you a name like the word colored, Naiman, let me decide.
Yeah.
If I accept it, then I accept it. But
Exactly.
that's for me. So I changed the San part because Nama was my lineage from my father's side because I'm an African male that I take my father's lineage.
Yeah.
And then I found out this word Kham. And in our community, Kham is that that brick off that's gonna rob you, that Kruger and coins in his ears, and no front
Ghetto
teeth,
fabulous,
and
The stereotype.
And then I find out in Nama language, Kham is a lion. And I was like, what? Naiman. So you've been bamboozling us for so long, letting us believe that this is Kham. And Kham means actually something that is going to add to your self-worth, who you are, where you want to go. When you stand in a crowd of people you don't know, you're not standing in all cowardness or anything. You're going to be like, I'm a strong man. I'm here. I'm a strong person. I know where I come from. I'm okay where I come from also.
So you're reclaiming that word basically.
I want to deconstruct that other word because that other word is wrong. It's we've even built a culture around that derogatory term.
But do you also think, just to interject, do you think also that like when we use the term Kham, do you think that was given to us like the explanation or the definition that we give it, like our community gives it? Do you think that was given to us, or that was just us not knowing our true lineage and heritage? We gave that connotation to it.
You do know since 1652 we've had an ethnocide campaign. We all know from studying the scholars that we do that if you want to control a people, you firstly take away the language, you take away the belief system, and you obviously,
Yeah.
you control the narrative after that. And that's what happened. There's actual documentation of the ethnocide campaign against Khoikhoi and Bushman people. So my thing is this, that words have power, man. And if we can deconstruct that and own it again and control our narrative, because our narrative is important.
Yeah.
It's important to me. That's all it needs to be. It just needs to be important to me so I can find out who the hell I am, why I'm here, and what I need to do to have the best time in this existence now. And that's what I want to do. And the system is set up in such a way that when I try to express myself, to find space to be and be, I'm always attacked because of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not even about I'm better than you. It's not about this is mine, so I'm going to be all braggadocious about it. There's enough space for us to be who we are, the true who we are, not who we've been told who we are.
Yeah.
So for me, from the language point of view, and the reason why I said that Khoikhoi and Bushman, the reason why the Bushman is the most oppressed tribe in South Africa at the moment, if not Southern Africa, because they're in Botswana as well. You know, in Botswana, they don't get given water. It's hectic. It's ugly. And these people have never had any aggression towards others. They always would bring in. They were hospitable. They would teach you.
Welcoming you.
You know what I'm saying? So my point of this is, although I'm Khoikhoi and I take it this, the only race I belong to is the human race.
Yeah.
I don't want to belong to any other race because all other races do some dumb shit sometimes. But you know what I'm saying? So from that point of view, nobody's talking for the Bushman. Nobody's talking about like Perspective mentioned about on the insignia. That is the most ridiculous thing ever. When that language is on there and it's not the language of the country.
And it's not seen as an official language. Yeah.
Yes, it's not. And even if it's not, because there are certain criteria when it comes to language being introduced as an official language. So why are you not working it to do that? When these are the people. And me, I just need to clear this, guys. I don't believe in First Nation.
Okay.
I believe in people. I don't believe in First Nation causes segregation. And us as hip-hoppers, we know from our point of black consciousness, we can't be segregated because that's what was done to us. We can't do it to others. We can't do that to others. We can, anybody that comes to me with entitlement and that condition of racism and all of that we deal with.
Yeah, I was going to say, now you're a bit late there with the bomb, eh?
Do you know what I'm saying? But we can't be like the oppressor. We can't be that. And we never were.
In the first place.
We were never like that. We were hospitable people. I mean, when in 1510, when Francisco de Almeida came here, we still asked him, like, oh, you want water tonight? Vat jy water. But you want mats. But then you want to steal our children. So what's going to happen to you?
Exactly.
Slice.
Wat bina mameza. You know what I'm saying? You're going to feel it. You're going to get taken out. Because that's why the Portuguese never came to the Cape for 100 years.
But I
Because
mean,
they
like,
didn't.
if you're like looking at the history, and quite conveniently, we were conditioned to say that 1652, Jan van Riebeeck discovered the Cape. When there was thousands
Sorry,
of seafarers.
you must say that in curse, man. Die kak praat.
But man, that's
Sorry.
that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And
Nee, man.
I actually shudder to think what else hasn't been written out of the history books. I mean, the mere fact that the social conditioning in terms of making us feel stigmatized to even want to associate with having part Nama or Bushman heritage. It's like, yes, we are an amalgamation of many tribes, and this is a seafaring city. So the port city, there was a lot of mixtures of
Yes,
tribes.
exactly.
And obviously people married into different families,
Yes.
etc. But it's the worst thing is like a curse word to like say something, it's like Bushman, lineage,
Ja.
it's like koi features. It's like I've seen your draad van your hare. It's like we've been conditioned, not just by the colonialists, but amongst ourselves. We are the
Yes.
greatest force.
A culture of it.
The culture, you'll get the mother saying, nee, jy kan nie met hy goose, ek kan nie. Kyk,
Sit die
sit
styl
die
hare
hare
nie.
nie. Jy gaan nie sit met 'n kind se hare kan nie.
And-
I mean, I used to see this a lot as a kid growing up. Was like when they used to take the pantyhose and rig it so in with the and I mean now females are going even to even our IsiXhosa and Zulu sisters are now wearing Brazilian weaves.
Yeah.
The
But,
amount of money.
but there is now a new thing here where the chickies go with that curly natural look. No?
Yeah.
But not everybody has that. But I've discovered that they're actually loving that new
You know,
look.
that's- I
And
love
that's
that
what made me
look.
fuck you.
Gents, I need to clarify this
Yeah.
because I speak to a lot of women and I brought up the conversation of wigs and braids and stuff like that. And the woman's response to me was, what's her name? India Ari's response. I am not my hair.
Yeah.
I fully get that.
Yeah.
I fully get that if you are proud of being without it.
Yeah.
But when that becomes a dependency of your beauty,
Exactly.
of how people
Or your
perceive
standard,
you,
the standard of your beauty.
yeah, then for me that's a problem because then there's no self-love.
Yeah.
And
Now
that's
you're
my
assimilating
thing.
to European
I mean,
version
I
now.
had to get used to my pot belly. You know what I mean? And understand, yes, there's a way I can get rid of it. Yes, I can definitely do that. But I'm okay with myself right now because I need to be okay with myself as a human being.
Yeah.
Same thing with makeup. I have this
Now it's
conversation.
not veel kak for talking, saying that at the beginning.
No.
The shift.
I kind of get where you're coming from,
Yeah.
and that was my point also. But from conversations with women,
Yeah.
because you must remember, and for us that have daughters, we will understand the bombardment they go through on a daily of how they are supposed to be.
Exactly.
And my thing is with my daughter, I always tell her, you just be you. That's the most important thing. There's no mistakes here. There's nothing wrong here.
Yeah.
You don't need to polish nails. Maybe once in a while if you want to polish it. But if your core understanding is who I am is enough.
Yeah.
I don't need to do anything else to make somebody see me as beautiful because I know I'm beautiful.
You're perfect as you are.
Exactly, man.
It's like it was like yesterday. We found ourselves on Camps Bay, and then my wife was like, "Yo, now, okay, I'm not gonna go too deep into this, but there comes a point where your family or your inner circle, put it that way, growing up, can basically condition your mindset to the point that you view beauty in a certain way.
True.
So she is like, okay, I've got these certain curves and whatever, but I maybe don't want to wear certain things because I'm going to show it off because I was told like X, Y, and Z. Now you go to the beach and then the darker toned of the darker toned females, they all are locking it. They don't care. They're showing it. And then she's like, oh, how do they get this confidence? Because in their culture, it is like, look, that's fine. We actually want that. We don't want a tweak.
Monkey.
You know, exactly. And it just shows you like it all starts like at home, and like if you can mold the mind at home, nothing can penetrate it.
You know, it ties back to that thing of hip hop, man. Knowledge of self. Know who you are, man.
Exactly.
And love who you are. And don't be scam about it. But also, Kagi, don't knock the skinny girls, please.
No, no, no,
I just
no,
want
no,
to say
no,
this.
no, we don't-
And
we don't
I
knock
just
it.
want to say this, like
The closer the
from a
bone, the
point
sweeter
of
the
view,
meat.
man. I love it that full-figured women are more confident about who they are.
Yes.
But if you haven't noticed, is mass media is starting to manipulate them already. The same like they were manipulating with the skinny girl complex. They're doing the same now. I shouldn't say girl, I should say woman rather. I don't want to offend women in any way. So the manipulation is constantly coming in. And it ties again to that element of knowledge of self. Know who you are. You were born in this way because of your genetic code.
Yeah.
You must give praise to your genetic code because it's a download from your parents and from your parents' parents and from your parents' parents. And tying in, sorry, man, tying into what you said about the conditioning, that hip hop line, I always love that hip hop line. Unlearn what was taught, burn down the fort. Because most of it comes from a colonizing point of view.
And it's perfect that you actually say that, because I also added on to the conversation yesterday. I was telling her, years ago, this wouldn't probably be the norm. But now, what you see now, even the Caucasian women want to be like the woman of color. You know, because that's the marketing of the day. Like, for instance, if you go to the States or you go to Europe, then there's still a certain old school way of marketing.
Yeah.
But we're in Africa, women don't look like that. So now, women are they're going in confidence, so to say. Their self-esteem is going, whatever. They want to show their figures and stuff. And now, obviously, in Africa, there's also white women. They also want to assimilate to that because that's been marketed to them as well.
You know the thing that, and you're saying a big part there, the marketing point of view is, look, like I said, the only race I belong to is the human race. And if you are not coming at me with those entitlement BS and that, you need to be human. And even them wanting to attain the figure of a person of color, that's not even right, man.
Exactly.
It's not right. You need to be you, the best you can be. So if you're a skinny girl, if you're a light-skinned girl, if you've got dimples, if you've got freckles, that's your unique feature that makes you you, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And there is somebody on the planet that really appreciates who you are. It might not be in your vicinity right now, but in future it might be.
Yeah.
It's like, look, the reality is, and I'm honest about it, to unlearn the conditioning that we have been given for, and it's not only through colonization. There was prior to colonization, there was always conditioning. There was the human conditioning of other humans wanting to be superior to other humans.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to talk race, man. I'm talking about within Africa, if you want to just talk about Africa itself. To unlearn that, to deprogram yourself. Because we are programmed, we are very much still programmed. People will say, "Yeah, but I'm free." And I'll be like, "Okay, what's your understanding of free? What? Not overstanding. What's your understanding of free? Are you free in the sense of that when you look at yourself naked in the mirror, you can say, 'I love you,'
Yeah.
and be okay."
They're looking at it from a system point of view, systematic.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where the problem comes, man. I was finally, I got the new KRS-One album, and I listened to the song God, and I was like, why is people not listening to KRS-One? Seriously.
Marketing.
No, because what I've been feeling, he articulated
The
in that
teacher.
one song. What he basically says is, everything is God.
Yeah.
And you God too. And it's
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
You God too. But you need to understand that when you get this reasoning with yourself, because introspection, I know perspective does this, and I do this every birthday. I sit still and I'm like, what happened this year? How am I? Am I the same person I was? Have I grown? Have I become guarded? Am I jaded? All that conversation. Because normally on my birthday, I'm always alone. I don't want people around me. I appreciate when they celebrate my existence. I love that. But I know there's an important exercise I need to do. So imagine, man, for people who don't even have the smell of it yet, and they just continue and continue. I was telling, who was I telling it? My son, my eldest son. So he talks to me a lot, and I'm happy that he talks to me, because I grew up in a household where there wasn't a lot of communication, and affection wasn't shown physically. Not saying they didn't love me.
Yeah.
It's just the way it was expressed was different. And when he was born, I made up my mind that I will show affection to him, because touch in any psychology, touch is important to a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that knowing that the hand is on their shoulder,
Yeah.
or it's behind the neck, or it's just rubbing the hair. That's important. And I was talking to my son about this, and I told him, like, you know, they know how I am by now. I'm a very isolated person, and I told him the reason why I'm like that is because the journey I'm on. And the journey I'm on, and not a lot of people can be with me on that journey. Some people have tried, and then they veered off again because they couldn't handle it. And it's not their fault.
Yeah.
And it's not my fault. It's just the distance that I've covered in experience and in life.
They still have to get there.
They still have to get there, and they need to do that for them,
Yeah,
for
on their
themselves.
own,
It's
on their
not
own, yes.
for me to bring them up to where, because that would be unfair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that would be an overload to their brains also, because, I mean, imagine you find out tomorrow that you are able to levitate, and you never knew that before. What would your whole synapses go through that firing? You would, that advancement of human brain capacity, to have it in one day, which would necessarily not even be in your lifetime. Imagine, just to comprehend that. And then my son said to me, like, you know, Daddy, I think I'm just going to be me. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
In my head, my ghetto side came out and just said, like, salute. Be you. Be the best you can be. And if you trap out of line, I'm going to trap you. Because you need to know that.
But that's hip hop.
Exactly.
That's hip hop right there. And that kind of segues to the other question I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Was like, we've been speaking now basically about knowledge of self.
Yes.
In essence, where do you still see knowledge of self in the culture at the moment? Is the culture still keeping knowledge of self as the figurehead, so to say, of the elements that knowledge of self exists?
It's not a simple question to answer. In the sense of, I need to give some background before I get to the actual answer. So I'm known as the guy who talks to the older generation and the younger generation. Although the younger generation that says they don't speak to the older generation says vice versa. That type of scenario. And when I talk to them, I talk to them always about knowledge of self, because that's where everything comes from. The articulation of your voice, the brain the firing in your brain, it all comes from knowing who the hell you are. You know? And I notice with some guys, and especially the newer generation, we can have a conversation about it. Strange, eh?
Yeah.
But when they articulate it in music or whatever form they articulate it in, I find that it's not coming to the forefront. Because you must remember, with hip hop is the vehicle to change our situation. Our situation of the have-nots to the haves.
Yeah.
And sometimes the guys just want to be journalists and tell you the story. And sometimes the guys want to be the voice. And we don't need all of that. We've heard these stories before. We know this ugly happening.
Yeah.
But Keviris once said it, right? If you are not saying anything, why are you rapping? And also bring solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are solutions. There are
Maybe
solutions.
some people do.
But it is breaking down that condition of us. We are the epitome in this area of the Southern Cape, the crab in the bucket syndrome. We are the epitome of it. You won't believe it. This guy will be next to you right now. The next day, it's a totally different situation. And we, as people, need to over that and say, like, kyk jy my bro, ek het gehoor die, I heard this happened and what. But don't you think we must rather do this, man? Because it's not really about us. We are part of it.
Yeah.
But on a big picture level, we need to change
bigger
the
than us.
situation. Because our future at the moment, just from looking, our future at the moment looks bleak. It looks really bleak. And there are cats that are, I shouldn't say cats, I want to stop with the references to genitalia. Anyway, there are people that are really bringing stuff, but they're not heard because the message is not the flavor of the day. And that's why it comes to when we have celebrations of different things of in hip hop. If there's a celebration of somebody is good at this or good at that, we need to be clear about the criteria of that. Because look, I come from the Universal Zulu Nation. And my thing is love, peace, unity, and having fun responsibly.
Yeah.
And that responsibly word seems to be very
They always forget about that.
distant
Yeah.
at the moment. And I have an issue with that because I'm a father and I want my kids to know hip hop.
Yeah.
Because what hip hop did for me, hip hop took me out of a situation where, and I know it's kind of being a cliche nowadays when people say, if it wasn't for hip hop, I was dead.
Just need to check there as well. Your knowledge of self also when you started in hip hop and your knowledge of self now is different.
Grows.
Exactly. So obviously you're not going to view it the same. You now from a fatherly standpoint.
And you know how much reasoning and understanding that brings.
You know what? For me, listening to hip hop in the 90s, they would always say, fame is this and this and this, and what's out now.
Yeah.
And with me doing what I do and the pitching what I get, I can see how that was like drilled into my head. So now it's like it's not even a thing, man. And another thing that hip hop actually helped me, DJ and MC, they relationship wat ek in sy gee op stage.
Yeah.
When I do it at the SABC, when I do the shadowing though, it's the same mentality. It's just that's a presenter now and she's that side. And I'm the DJ that side. But I just flip it, man.
Yes,
It's just
exactly.
strange how hip hop has taught me. En ek dink se weet daai urban ding kan ons sommer adapted word hier tot 'n
corporate kind
the
of-
corporate
Yeah.
environment. You know
My
what I'm saying?
bro, I'm gonna tell you this. Hip hop. Hip hop makes you survive the battlefield.
Yeah.
And the battlefield is, like you said, those corporate environments.
Yeah.
You know how to talk their language. You know how to freestyle. Because
Exactly.
I freestyle a lot.
lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
But it's because I am trying, and I'm still on the journey, trying to find who I truly am.
Yeah.
And also from that, it gives me the confidence, it gives me the presence to stand anywhere and talk to anybody.
Emil also mentioned that now. No?
Yes, it's important. And this is what's lacking with our kids.
Yeah.
They don't have that confidence, they don't have that presence, they don't have that understanding. Who am I? And that question is a massive question.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like myself and my wife also spoke about it like yesterday. It's like when we were talking about the whole confidence and self-esteem thing, and I said like, she might think that it's like cliche that I always bring it up, whatever.
Yeah.
Like we spoke also a while ago that like, because of my time away from the scene as well, it feels like, am I still that perspective? Am I still, do I still assimilate?
Ching.
You know, to perspective, and like I told her many times that like I don't feel like I'm there anymore, and it feels like I feel quote unquote sad about it.
Yeah.
So when this conversation came up yesterday, I said like to just put it into perspective, no pun intended, but what you feeling with body consciousness and stuff like that, that's the same thing that I was a shy kid in primary school growing up. When I had my first alias Illuminate, which then became Perspective, it was like literally my Superman to my Clark Kent. So now to not appease that anymore, it's like, who the hell am I?
Yep.
Now, so yes, the knowledge of self aspects comes in. I do know who I am, but I did create this deity, so to say. I did create this alter ego that is me also. I dug deep to find this person, and now I'm not appeasing that person.
Yeah. No.
You know?
Look, I always make this joke with people. I tell them I'm a multi-dimensional person. It's not really a joke because I am.
Yeah.
I have different sides to me. There's some stuff I can show people. There's some stuff I can't show people. So I say normally I have 13. Just as a joke. Just as a joke. Look,
You like that, Bayan? Was it not Glass? What's the other movie?
that was Glass, the last one.
Yeah, no, but yeah,
The
that guy.
previous
that guy.
one, yeah.
The previous one was?
Yeah.
Shadow or something like that.
But you know
Yeah.
what? That whole concept is written on a psychology
Yeah.
approach to it. Look, the thing is, imagine how boring you would be if you were one-dimensional.
Exactly.
We are not one-dimensional.
Hell no.
And that's why we attract all these different things. That's why we have all these different ciphers around us. Because I can tell you, I have a business cipher, I have a I'm not going to mention that cipher. I have another cipher. No. People get scared when I mention that cipher. And then I have different ciphers. But there's a reason why.
I ook up involved when I
Yeah. So I have many ciphers. But there's a reason why I'm in those ciphers, because I'm a multidimensional person.
And that's the other thing as well. Like people always think when they say knowledge of self or you need to understand the self, they think it's always one dimensional or one person or one identity. We are multidimensional.
But the thing is, they use one to quantify.
Yeah.
That's why they use one. It's actually infinity. So the human brain couldn't comprehend at that time when they came up with this concept about infinity. Because infinity means many of.
Yeah.
And it's I can't use the word infinite again, but it's many of.
Exactly.
So you have the potential as a human being to be anything that you perceive.
Yeah.
You want to be. Because that's what's that line? If you perceive it, you can achieve it.
Exactly.
It's just sometimes we block ourselves, and we block ourselves through what we ingest. We block ourselves if it's ingest in food, in visual, in auditory. When our senses get bombarded with fakeness, that we sometimes believe it, and then we realize like, oh damn, no, I can't do that. Like with my kids especially, I try to get the words "I can't" out of their mouths.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not gonna say that. At least try.
Yeah.
If you don't achieve it, I get that.
Yeah.
But to say I can't is defeat.
Yeah.
You've defeated yourself before you started.
Exactly. And you never know. You know, me in perspective, we talk a lot about metaphysics, and people shy away from metaphysics a lot. And the thing about metaphysics that I love so much is that it's saying is, it's not that you're taking away from what anybody else believes. It's just you want to know what you can do and what your potential is. And if you know yourself, knowledge of self, then you will know what you are able to do.
Yeah,
but if you don't know yourself, what are you going to do?
You tend to find the thing above or past, because I don't want to say above or below, but it's whatever's above the physical.
Yes.
You're trying to find that.
And you can feel it. Simple thing. I always ask people this question. It's freak funny, but anyway. Can you hear your inner voice? I can. Can you hear your inner voice?
I think a lot of us tend to ignore it.
You shouldn't ignore him.
No. I'm just
That bruh.
yeah.
That bruh got your back. That bruh got your back. There's a reason why that conversation is happening. Because your brain actually picked up something that wasn't liquor. So now, through reasoning, like we had off-air conversation about, through reasoning, now you realize, okay, wait, what could it be this, could it be that, could it be that, could it be that? Then you get your plan of action from it. Should I maybe reach out and have this conversation? From this conversation, I understand that, okay, this, that, and that. Maybe I should dig deeper if the person allows me to dig deeper, or the situation allows me to dig deeper. From that, then you'll be like, okay, so now I have a bit of an understanding with this person. So how can I meet that
Exactly.
without losing myself? Because you must never lose yourself. It's just so important. And from that, and seriously, I can tell you straight, the situation of what we have on this planet Earth at the moment, I'm not talking about those ones that press buttons. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people, because people are not educated enough at the moment. And when I say education, I don't mean tertiary or what. I mean life education. They're not educated enough to be able to stand and be who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the emotional intelligence is sorely lacking.
Sure. But they've been dumbed down. They've been dumbed down.
No, but it's like from my side, it's like the train of thought I'm on these days is like basically managing expectations, because I think a lot of people, like you say, the difference between the young and the old generation in hip hop is that people have certain expectations and think that you can fulfill this. You'll get a lot of cats like, yo, how can you manage my career? It's like, you don't do that. You don't do that. First, you don't step to me like that and just like do this for me. It's like, and that's the thing. It's like in some points they don't have confidence, but in sometimes they are fucking overconfident.
Yeah.
And they're just expecting as a very give me.
I think it's the introduction of what they call convenience. Remember when we started in hip hop, we didn't have accessibility.
Yeah.
I remember we had to meet a Thursday afternoon at Westridge Libraries just to have a Zulu Nation meeting. If you're not there, you miss out, bruh. Because we got stuff to do the weekend.
There was no
and stuff.
internet.
Yeah, there was no internet. There's no accessibility. But also, you said about the emotional intelligence and that about managing. I must tell you this example. And yeah, we had the meet and greet for Public Enemy.
Yeah.
So Red Bull was brought him down. Oh, that was a fucking.
Are you talking about at the studio?
Yeah.
We were there. We were there. Yes.
And the guy interviewing them asked, some guys maybe brought their mixtapes and stuff. And you had to see the expression on their faces, man. I mean, this is PE, my bro.
Yeah.
Since when do they gonna manage your career? And you remember, look, when I started, the first compilation I was on was Do for Self by Black Noise.
Yeah.
Right? The name alone. Do it for yourself. Don't expect a handout. And I'm not saying that in the scope of South African story, I don't want to say his story. Yeah, it is actually his story. In his story, there is stuff that are owing.
Yeah.
That's a reality of it. But me, I'm not going to sit and wait here and wait with my hands out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be me and do what I need to do and be out there.
But that's because of your knowledge of self. Because so much of our
Exactly.
community actually wait for the handout.
Government.
And yeah, it's unfortunate that maybe the knowledge of self is not like at the point where it's supposed to be. So it's like, okay, the handout is where I'm at. Where there are other people in the community where it's like, nah, fuck the handout. I'm going past that. I'm gonna do something for
And you
myself.
gain more, man. Once you've done for yourself, it means more, man.
Yeah. And also, what's the thing with the hip hop culture at the moment, or let's say rap music, for instance, is like people want to be put on. Like that's the thing at the moment. Is like they want to be put on. I listened to a producer podcast, and Illmind also makes reference to that a lot. It's like that's the thing where all you should do is like day in day out just make beats every single day, put it out, and somebody is bound to see it, somebody's bound to hear it.
Yeah.
And also, if you can find somebody that's an MC that's on the up and come in your community, then mold that person, become the producer for that person. If that person blows, you blow. But don't that whole thing of like, here's my mixtape, listen to it. Nah.
Dude, I'm tired of it. Nah, but at the moment, you know what I do? I don't have a television at the moment. My kids is on me over that. I just have my laptop and I make beats. That's all I do. And you know how much differently I feel from not having to watch that box. Because most of the time that box is giving me bad, ugly news. I know. I mean, hip hop, I know what's going on in the world. I don't need that constant bombardment of BS, man, you know?
Yeah.
How are you going to make a change if somebody's throwing negativity at you the whole time?
Yeah.
How you don't even have a chance to breathe. It's just negativity the whole time.
Well, look, I think a lot of people like we touched on like in terms of knowledge of self and emotional intelligence, but I think one crucial element of knowledge of self is the ability or the need and the hunger to learn more, to constantly, like you think, it's infinity.
Yes.
It's the constant. It's like you started off, you learned this craft. From this craft, you now progressed. You now in a radio station. You now in a different environment. You do live gigs. You can do parties. This has taken you across the world. You've been on international albums, etc. So now you see it doesn't just end there. The beauty of hip hop also is it's taught us the hustle mentality.
Yes.
And that nothing is free and you have to fight for what you want. But there's ways, and also made you cognizant of the fact that you're up against a system and how to work within that system and to make a counter system in order to battle that. So you're aware of the dualities, and like you're saying, the multiple personalities or the multidimensional being that you are. It's the same thing I liken myself as like talking to females and stuff like that. They describe yourself and I said I'm an onion. With
Many layers.
You have to pull the back
Some of
the
them's
layers,
gonna make you cry. But I mean that's me. So like in terms of my journey, is like where I started off in hip hop, also like doing do for self concerts with Black Noise, being part of a performance group as a dancer, then an MC, but then always had an affinity for art. So like that part of me has been suffering quite a bit. But then I design logos now and then just for Gatmark, and from there it's taken me to many different, and also the ability to speak.
Yes.
So to speak to different people, to get different perspectives, and the other thing that me and Kern started with Yardie Boys was like from the yard to the boardroom. We could lam on the yard with the merchants, talking kak, and then now we're sitting in boardrooms.
Yeah. But it's communication, man.
That's
It's all about communication.
But I think also like just that now, just an example.
Mm.
I think we downplay ourselves as a community, man. Like there's a lot of businessmen. Like I mean, freaking Bert is a business person. You know,
He's not the nicest business
he's not the
person,
nicest
but he's a
person,
business
but
person.
there's a business to it. You know, and it's like they would always say like, yeah, we don't have business acumen. Maybe because we don't speak the way you want us to speak, but we have business acumen. We know what we need to do. And if we can just take that mentality to maybe like benefit the community and stuff like
It's the
go-
it's the application of it. If we look at
Yeah.
the state of South Africa, right? I've been on this planet in this dimension for like 43 years, right? And what I've observed, because that's the thing, I like to watch people. And it's not that I'm a stalker. It's just
observer.
I just want to observe people.
I remember
because
when we
learn.
worked in town.
Yeah.
I was a long time geland.
Yeah,
I
then
said, I like to just watch people.
just watch
Yeah.
people. And what
Wait, when you're talking about that now, because we used to work at the same company together. And
so we used to observe
and
people.
you can and literally looked at lunchtime like the savannah.
The savannah. We used to call it the savannah.
And then you can see like there's the lions, there's the hyenas, there's the gazelles, whatever.
Yeah.
It like looked like that.
But what I was trying to say was, I wanted to make reference to this point, man, about conditioning, especially like because our people are very conditioned. When I say our people, I don't mean the racial terms of people. I mean people that are down.
Yeah.
So it's like this, man. You take a lion who is free. He looks after himself. He sustains his living to survive.
Yeah.
And you domesticate him. In actual fact, another word for domestication is enslavement, because you don't
Yeah.
do that to a wild animal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you look at our situation as people. It's the same situation, but the domestication gets put in such a beautiful packaging that makes you think, wow, this is what I must attain in life, and that is that, and that, and that. It's the same thing with materialism and the social status
All the
that
isms.
that we find. All the isms, basically. It's funny you don't get the shitism, but anyway. But yeah, you get what I'm saying, man. It's all that, like how having to apply what is important for you, and understanding the importance of it. Because I mean, to you it might be, now I need $1 million in my bank account. To me, it's not $1 million in my bank account. I need to eat every day. That's
Yeah.
the reality. I mean, like you were saying, maneuver in the system.
Yeah.
I need to eat every day. But I don't right now. If it happens, it happens. But I'm the type of person who will be like, okay, I got $1 million, let's take 500,000 rand, let's see what I can do in the community.
Yeah.
How can I change it? And it's not doing the community as a handout, it's to make people self-sufficient.
Yeah.
To conscientize them and say, like, you know what, this is what you're able to do.
Exactly.
This brother worked for the council every day that's digging trenches. But he's got such a nice garden there at home. Grow food. I will go to whatever, I don't want to mention specific names, but whatever shop there is, and I'll say, you in our community, support our community, here's fresh produce. If you're not going to support it, then I'm going to make sure that our people don't support you.
Yeah.
That's how we can create a market, and we can have power in the market, because we are constantly under that ugly word of consumerism. We are powerless all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I watch them in our, I'm just going to use the term dollars, but our dollars don't, or let's just say, call it rands, but our money doesn't circulate long enough within our community. We had that talk as well. I was going to make a point earlier on, but now this actually makes it, I can add to this point. Like, when we talk about knowledge of self, I think all four of us here, we are the inquisitive type.
Yeah.
So I think when we started in the culture, that helped us to like want to get information. Now the convenience of information being at your fingertips is not actually a helpful thing, because if you're not the inquisitive type, you're still not gonna look for shit. You know, so the inquisitive people that are, or the inquisitive new generation, they will be the ones that will be looking into that. You mentioned now about the community and stuff like that. I think to get most people onto, I won't say level playing field, but just to kickstart them when knowledge of self is concerned, you have to up their self-esteem, their confidence within each other. You look at how much people go to, like, markets almost now the thing,
Yeah.
the in thing at the moment. Like in
It's
Cape
not
Town.
really anything. People are like broke and they need money and they need to generate money.
Yeah,
And so
no, but I'm talking about from the standpoint of those that have money.
Oh, yeah.
So like markets are the thing. Like, so you have like your Spice Route, you have your What's Route 44, you have all these markets. But then you see a lot of the vendors are people, or not a lot, but there are people of our communities. Why don't? Because we have so many people that are good with their hands. Why don't we have why don't we have a Mitchell's Plain market? Why don't we have a Bonteheuwel market? Why don't we have a Lavis market or whatever? And these people can then sell to their own community. That community that probably doesn't have the funds to get out to the other markets. They can just be in their community, and in seeing that, self-esteem gets promoted, confidence gets promoted, because like, yo, that uncle just made that wooden begafte thing that's in there, whatever. You know, even if you don't buy it, at the end of the day, the seed was planted.
Yes. Look, I wanted to say this about hip hop before I lose this thought pattern. This thing about hip hop. I was fortunate enough. Somebody asked me to write an essay or piece for this book that they were putting together, a compilation of the different young South Africans talking about how South Africa is. And then I started writing like my journey in hip hop. My official journey started in 1990. Although growing up in Mitchell's Plain, you didn't even know it, but hip hop music was always around you. You know what I mean? And in this piece, I wrote that, you know, the first time I could spin on my head, and the first time I put paint to a wall, and the first time I spit my own lyrics, I actually felt free. And remember, that time South Africa was funky at that time, because we were coming out of the state of emergency.
The 80s.
Yeah, so we're going into 91 was a very, very iffy year in our country's thing. And if that didn't happen, I would have been I almost swore now. I would have been dumb, man. You know what I mean? And you know how it is. Once you know these things, you can't go
Unknow them,
back. Unless you're going to put something in your mouth and pull the trigger. It's like that. You know what I mean? Because you just can't. And the thing is, as a hip hoppers, although we come across as hardcore and blah, I think we're one of the most empathetic people on this planet, man. Seriously. Because we actually care about our community.
Yeah.
We actually care about people. And we want them to experience at least the little that we experienced. Because they don't know they're in bondage.
Yeah.
They don't know they are being conditioned. But just to have that one fresh breath that you can feel like, where your chakras are vibrating because you realize I got something more than just something in my belly now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, we as a culture, we I mean, still to this day, I mean, rap music might be the biggest selling, whatever, but we still have an uphill battle.
Of course.
Like, we've always had an uphill battle. So many of those in the beginning, like your Arizano or Emil or D or Jamo or whoever, could look at the situation now and be like, you know what, middle finger to this. But a lot of those people, if not all of them, are still looking at it in a sense of like positivity. And you know what? They can see the bigger picture, and then obviously the ones that came afterwards and the new generation, those that maybe are still aligned with that vision, can see the bigger picture. And hence we are like empathetic, because we could have taken a total different look at it as a community, as a culture.
yeah.
You know, we could take a total different look at it and be like, you know, I'm also mass or whatever, but we didn't. You know, we still building. We still to this day still building.
It's like this, man. To raise a child, man, you know what I mean? You need to give a child the foundation.
Yeah.
And we got the foundation. Some of these younger guys never got the foundation. That's why I talk to the younger guys. I was like, when we came up, this was it. This, and this. If it's going off that, you need to reevaluate what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What needs to be done. You know? What you call it? There was this one thing. Wait, I'm not going to say that.
No. If you want to.
Nah, man. Sometimes, you know me, I have sometimes a tendency to just speak straight.
Yeah.
Where it's like, look, this is enough now.
Yeah.
We come to a point where this is enough. What I wanted to say was also with the new narrative, the controlling of the new narrative of hip hop. I feel we are not in control of that narrative.
No, but we haven't been for a while.
Anyway, and it's a problem. And that's why you will find that a lot of the older guys are, and I say older, not necessarily age, I mean people that have been longer in hip hop,
Yeah.
are now coming out like Uncle Ruckus. Because, nah man, you must taking something for a gat that I love.
Yeah.
And sometimes the younger kids don't understand what love is in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they don't understand that relationship. So, you know, me, I want to talk to the Owens men and say, Lana, if you don't listen, you know how it is with a child. If the child don't listen, there's consequences for your actions. You know, be it whatever you see as discipline.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not because it's from a point of hate, it's from a point of love. And that's where people get distorted, like with criticism, with just normal conversation, you know. I found now recently I'm offending people, but anyway, we'll have that reasoning again. No, we'll have that reasoning again because I offended you. I'm a man, I'm an adult man. I want to talk to you about it. If I did offend you, okay, let's talk about it. You know, because maybe you didn't see where I was coming from, or maybe you didn't read the situation properly. Because remember, communication is not only auditory.
Yeah. There's body language.
There's many things in it. There's many things. But anyway.
Do you think that I'm not saying that the guys that done that back in the day were doing it for the right reasons as well, but do you think that the how do I put it? Like when we were coming up, you couldn't just jump onto the stage and grab the mic. There was like you had to do things to get onto the mic, and most of the time you were outside in the cipher. So you were ciphering outside. If you were good outside, you had the opportunity to get onto the mic.
But there was times that you had to walk out of the cipher because everybody's looking at you. Gaat skryf jou, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because of that, like this newer guys, that rite of passage is like missing a lot. I'm not saying that it isn't
Convenience.
there. Yeah. So
Accessibility. Guys could walk up straight to an elder now and be like, yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
No.
when I was in hip hop, I would be like, oh, there's Dion standing. Sorry, Reddit, he's standing. There's Razano standing. There's Koga's the graffiti god at that time. You know what I mean? And you know, they all standing there to be like,
whoever.
yeah, there's too many names to mention. But you know what I mean? It would be like, I need to work my way up to having even a conversation with them.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because I respect what they've done. Because if they didn't make those choices they made, I would have been another dumb bra. I wouldn't have had that spark that happened, man. Look, not taking anything away from my parents. My parents used to support me in a lot of things. They gave me my accessibility to good music. They gave me accessibility to instrumentation because I can play many instruments. They nurtured it through all the years. They gave me my access to soundscapes, stuff like that, you know, I mean, plays and all those things.
Yeah.
And we don't realize how important, and I'm saying it like this, it does not mean anything like biological, but the parent figure, how important it is. Now, when you come to the thing, the organism that is hip hop, there are parents in hip hop.
Yeah, exactly.
So you are telling me you rolling your mother or father without listening first and not realizing they have so much more life experience than you. So that's was kind of you're being disrespectful. You know what I mean? Even if that person gives you, like I said before, gives you a bad lesson,
Yeah.
you still learn from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we need to still come to censorship. Come, bring up censorship. I want censorship.
Ek wil vir julle iets vra hom. Net so something that came about this bietjie going back, but a curveball. Why is the term
Anthony's curveball.
David likes it? we have a problem with the term colored, no? But why don't we have a problem with the term people of color?
No.
That's my
No.
how I see it.
Yeah, yes,
People always say people of color, but they don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
But they've got a problem
Colored
with color.
Okay.
So
Colored
what's the difference?
is a
then?
construct.
Colored is a construct of
But people of
colonialism.
color, it's kind of the same.
I think people of color you can throw into the same box as mixed race kind of.
Yeah. I don't like any of these terms. I need to tell you that. I don't like any of these terms. Call me a human.
Ek is op dieselfde-
A man
I'm
of
a
color.
spirit. I'm a spirit living.
Human.
A human. There's a reason why I say human.
Human, HUE, and then
And man.
It basically
A
means
you.
man of
You
color.
man.
You.
That's, call me a human. I don't have a problem with it. Even so, we must also remember, guys, we come from a culture of hip hop where it was also a lot of misogyny in it. So even saying
peace to you, man.
yeah, big up me, bro. Anyway, what I wanted to say is we also need to be aware of where the female energy sits within hip hop,
Yeah.
and that has been overlooked for so long. And
It's coming to the fore now, but like, how is it coming to the fore?
how
That's
how
the
is
other
it
thing.
presented?
Yeah.
What is the construct of it? Because sometimes people construct this nice package,
Yeah.
but underneath,
And
Aku
you know,
iets lelijk
we can go back to Laszlo's episode where he said females live from the heart, but now they feel like because males don't want to come up to that level, they drop down
yeah,
to their base, and that's the where they live from. And I think that's where female hip hop, from a mainstream side of things, because I've heard some dope female MCs that don't
stop saying that.
Okay, I've heard dope MCs that happen to be females
Thank you.
that watch them that don't subscribe to that paradigm. But in general, that's where the female or that's where the MCs that are female are coming from. It's like they're dropping down instead of just like stick where you're from and you are from that chakra, so to say.
Coming
Energy
back to
point.
your thing about colored. Colored is a condition. It was a slave mentality. That word came from there. It was to name a tribe because you don't want them to remember who they are. That's why you did it. You said, oh, they're mixed race and everything. Yes, we have the genetics in
No,
our
I
bloodstream.
get that, but people
that-
of color is the same thing. Then, bro.
It is. But but here's the funny thing. You know how when you say people of color, how offended people get.
No, I think that people in general, we
Look,
okay with that.
if you call me mixed race, then I'm gonna be a person and say, no, I'm God. Just to mess with you. Because
Because technically you have all the
you're playing me down.
Yeah.
You're playing my self-worth down.
you have all the genetical strands of
We
Humankind.
all do. But we don't tap into it. We
Yeah.
don't understand it. That's where the knowledge of self comes from. And gents, I want to say this, and I'm going to bring this out. I said female energy. I never said female. There's a reason why I said that.
because we all have female energy as well, no matter what sexual.
Preference. I'm
Preference,
not
yeah.
talking gender. I said
Yeah.
female energy.
Yeah.
And female energy is from the heart. It's love.
Yeah.
It's all those things. If you I go listen to old hip hop that I used to listen to. That brought me. That was on my journey to this point.
Because from that standpoint,
Then I'm already like, nah, I can't listen to this anymore. Because you know what? I come from a woman. And that is a problem for me when you are talking about women in that vein or in that way. I'm not saying the women you're talking about, I don't know that's a scenario, but the way you are putting it out,
yeah,
you are generalizing on all women. And I also said that the female energy for a reason. You guys remember a crew called Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy? You remember that crew?
no.
Go research it. One of the guys was gay,
Okay,
open gay guy, rapper,
when was this?
90s.
Wow.
Early
Yeah.
90s.
Golden era side. Let me just say it like that. It's the easy way to
Yeah,
put it.
yeah.
Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy. Go check them out.
Okay.
Seriously. And my thing is this now. As hip hoppers, because we are supposed to be the evolutionary thinkers. We're not supposed to be subscribed to what everybody else tells
But
us.
yet we think the same now. Everybody's thinking out of the same box.
Now that's the problem.
That's the issue. We
That's
spoke
a
about that
general-
as well.
But here's my thing. A lot of people say the new hip hoppers are wearing dresses and whatever. I'm like, I granted actually.
No, man. No. You-
But because they as mos nie 'n gangster narrative meer nie. Dit is meer hulle sê hip hop is meer gay whatever.
Yeah.
Nah.
But I'm saying I like it that way because you get different perspective.
Here's a problem.
Dus wat zijn naam? Tyler the Creator. En zijn freestyles. Ik kreeg het. Het kan funny, no, but it's serious.
Here's the
You
thing.
know what I'm saying?
I was watching a documentary about that, no, and it made sense to me. Music. We're not talking hip hop now. We're talking music in general. Those guys that dress up like that say some of the filthiest shit
Okay, yeah.
and the most gangster affiliated shit,
Yeah.
right? But besides
But-
that, let's not talk about the content. Let's talk about the imagery you're getting.
Yeah.
Dude, Parliament Funkadelic, nah, man. Because that bro was saying some metaphysical shit. But they would come on stage in the nappy. The one bro said he used to steal towels out of the hotel because he would cut them up because he needs his nappy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think the thing is, and he knows about this, about the how trauma can affect the brain. And how it can change people's perceptions and the way they think. I think it's the shock value, so that you open up and you absorb what it is. Now, for me personally, with those guys, I don't like the content because it doesn't speak to me.
Yeah.
When they have a dress on, I'll just be like, okay, whatever. That's not a thing to me.
the-
Because if you grew up, if you musically grew up through the 70s, especially,
Yeah, especially.
they were wearing outrageous stuff, bro.
Exactly.
And
You
the
know,
thing-
looking like the earliest rap groups, the guys were in their leathers, they were more punk. It was a whole transition from the disco.
Yeah.
But
to
they
the rap era.
even explained, we were looking up to Parliament Funkadelic. We were looking on to Sly Stone and all of that.
Stein, the family store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would always used
Yeah,
to dress up.
but the thing is, like, they were dressing up for a show.
Show.
So now hip hop comes from the corner, and it's like, okay, now you have to go do a show. Like these, you basically on the same show as these guys,
Yeah.
and they look like they actually put on a show. And if you come in your normal shit, you're not putting on a show. So that's where that came from.
That's where it comes
But
from.
what I want to touch on is with the content and the imagery has to align.
True.
When the content doesn't align with the imagery, then it's like kind of off. And also, okay, no pun intended on that. But with there is a vendetta or an agenda
Yes.
behind that to put, like, we've had the episode with the LGBT safe spaces and stuff like that. I've got nothing against whatever sexual orientation people want to subscribe to, but there is an agenda when it comes to music side of things, and then to push that as like, okay, so everybody has to do that. What we have, and that's where the content and the image doesn't gel. When
Yes.
it gels, then I wouldn't even call it an agenda. Now say
Yes.
like, but on the 3000, there's like
He's
you want
been
to
doing
like-
it long
He's been doing
ago.
Prince has been doing it how long? Okay, Prince is paused
Yeah.
now, but he done it as well.
Yes.
You know, but those two gelled. When there's no gelling, then there's an issue.
You know what? As us as hip hoppers, we're supposed to be the people that's not really sensitive to what
Yeah.
we see, because we're supposed to see through the BS.
Yeah.
I think that's
You know what
that's
I mean?
that's the
But
I think
also-
that's the issue because I switch off when I hear the negative messaging, whatever. Unless it's you coming from a really intelligent point of view where you mentioning the negative stuff, whatever,
Yeah.
but there's a spin to it, man.
Of
You
course,
know what I'm
there's
saying?
a lot of young
But
guys
the thing
doing
is,
that.
when I see the imagery, when I see memes like our hip hop is this and your hip hop is that, that's just the imagery. For me personally, I welcome it that because that meme
Yeah.
is without the
The context.
the contents. So I say, you're listening most of it because you excluding people, man.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my friends, they didn't really like hip hop because it didn't speak to them.
Yeah.
There was
It
no
was
message for them
very
to relate to.
misogynistic.
You know what I'm saying? So nowadays, those that never liked it, I fucking welcome it, dude. Definitely.
And the thing is, like, I mean, when that was it Stankonia? That album was was Stankonia?
Yeah, Stankonia.
Yeah, the double album. When people heard the Under 3000 side of it, they were dismissing it. They were like, "Nah, this is not hip hop."
That's the side I like.
But the real hip hop heads felt that shit because it was like, "Nah, that's
the side I like.
Yeah, it was the better part. of
He
the
was
double
stepping
album.
into Prince, Jimi Hendrix,
Exactly.
all of
So
them.
if you know, then you know. If you
Yes.
don't know, well, it
No,
flies over
but
your head.
that ties again into the education part of it. And us, as people that have been longer in hip hop, because I think we don't do hip hop for entertainment purposes. We do it for education purposes, or what they call edutainment purposes.
Or I would even say we do it for a release, you know,
Of course.
because there's so much that there's such a build up day to day that like you have to write it out or you
Yeah.
have to put beats to whatever.
Straight up. Like
Or
I thought,
the b-boy has to make.
he has to spin on his head, because
Yeah.
when he spins on his head, he's in control of it. He's doing something that nobody else can do.
Or the graffiti artist has to pick up again.
And it's a yoga position.
Yeah.
Do you know how dope that is?
Just want to touch on something like you've mentioned like chakras, energies,
Yeah.
adrenaline releasing and stuff like that. I think also to a large extent we've also grown as hip hoppers in terms of understanding the emotions that is attached to this.
Yes.
And I made a post in last week in terms of like the narcissistic characters you do get within the industry. And like you said, there comes a point where you have to say like, okay, wait, okay, shit, you need to check yourself, because also, you know, if you're affecting another generation of kids, or you're bringing up people and you're giving them the bad energy and you're passing on a narrative that is not necessarily true,
Yes.
that conversation needs to, like, people need to get checked in terms of that, because you don't want a whole section. And like I said, people tend to flock together. You see online
Yeah.
when, especially regarding the whole b-boy in the Olympics thing, people trying to now claim ownership of first generations. And I understand everybody has their time within the scene, but like we are here, there's another generation coming up and another generation behind them. And it's for us to give as much positive knowledge to them, how to navigate this industry and this culture,
So you don't lose it.
so you don't
Yeah.
lose it, firstly, and it's not diluted, and we're not written out of us. We mentioned this a couple of times before.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
now-
post you said earlier on when they said the first hip hop museum
Oh yeah,
in South
they
Africa,
mentioned like
blatantly false. I don't know if you
In Joburg.
guys ask me much love and respect, but we already had
Yeah,
the first
there was
hip hop
one, yeah.
museum in Cape Town.
Look, I think it's just like this, man. And this is where I tie into what people call colored culture. But I don't even think it comes from there. I think it comes from way back before that. Stand vast vir jou ding, man.
Yeah.
Don't be bummed, man. Stand your thing. Even if it means you are the only bra standing there. And the other thing is this, you must be careful of memes. Memes have an agenda also, man.
Yeah.
Be very careful of memes. Because if you think about how much it's produced and the frequency of it, it can be used to sway people's minds. So we need to be careful about that. Look, the online presence is a very dangerous presence. It's a minefield. And if you don't stick to your guns, what you know to be your hip hop, and I have to say your hip hop,
Yeah.
because as we are sitting here as four individuals, I don't think our our hip hop.
It will
is
vary
the
slightly.
same.
It will-
There will be a variation.
Yeah, there will
Because
be.
hip hop is a major thing. People don't understand hip hop is life.
Yeah.
Hip hop is life to attain the best you can be.
Yeah.
And not at the cost of somebody else. I need to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of that nonsense happening. Also,
I mean, there's a lot of ego. There's a
yeah,
lot of ego.
I need to also stress this. The reason I'm in hip hop has got nothing to do with awards. It's got nothing to do with being on television or on a stage or a show. I never started in hip hop like that. I would want to be in a situation that, you know what, I'm sharing some with you. If you can remunerate me for what I'm sharing with you,
Yeah.
cool. But that is not my main thing. My main thing is, what they call Dead Prisoner. What was the album's name?
Oh,
Let's
let's get free.
get free.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. And I think that's where the distortion sometimes comes with, and partially our fault also, because we didn't have the open line of communication with the younger generation. Because one thing I can tell you, the younger generation's business acumen
Oh.
is much better than ours.
Yeah, definitely.
Much better than us. But understanding that was never our
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our point of reference was, I'm in a situation where people are constantly trying to push me down, and I need to be able to breathe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe that's something of us as people that have been long in hip hop, to maybe have that conversation with them and still bring it through. That you know what, you don't have
To wrap it up, no?
Yeah. No, obviously.
you don't have to what you call it. You don't have to play the normal pretty package that everybody else is giving,
Yeah.
and still be able to earn a living. Do you know what I mean?
I think it was the same thing like when Eric Fang was here. I made a point where I said like hip hop, house music, and punk so closely related because those were individuals that didn't feel like they were part of.
Outcasts.
They were the outcast. So when you found another outcast, you were like, oh, wait,
bro.
Exactly.
That
You
is
know?
the truth. Like,
Exactly.
that's why do you think in our early history in hip hop in Cape Town, who were we sitting with mostly?
Punk.
With the punks. Why? Because the punks had the middle finger to the system, and we had the middle finger to the system. So we started relating, you know. But you must also remember those three that you're talking about all come out of the struggle music before that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The elders that showed us,
Exactly.
you know. And also we need to realize this was all those people that we hold dear to us that gave us that little spark to go on our journey. Today might not be that inspirational person that we were looking to.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, your knowledge of self changes.
Exactly.
Their knowledge of self changes. Where they maybe gotten to a point where it's like, nah, man, I'm just going to earn money now.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? Because that's not my priority at the moment.
Because
And you can't
survival,
blame them, man. You
survive.
can't blame them.
Everybody has to survive. Survival. will
That's
trump
exactly.
anything.
But my thing is, people need to have the understanding of that, and not just say, "Yeah, but this brother don't give up." And we've seen that, but you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also relationships. Oh, I need to say this just before we wrap. I need to say this. Relationships. Your relationship with somebody is not the same relationship as somebody else's.
Yeah.
We need to be bear in mind of that. And we can't burden the person who shares that with us. We can't burden that with that situation. Like I said, as people, we need to sit down, reason, talk it out. If we can't reason it out, then we must go old school. And I don't like going old school because that's
Ook up involved.
no, as gongs, my bros, form style. You know what I mean? But we don't want to go that route. That is like the last resort, man. Because we are having a society of cowards, and it's bothering me that we're having. Because I'm raising children, and I don't want them to go through this. I mean, we went through a lot as growing up, right?
Yeah.
We've been through a hell of a lot. I'll say it again, my bro. Hip hop saved my ass big time. If I didn't, and big shout out to King Jamo. Big shout out to King Jamo. That information he gave us, it changed a lot. It changed a lot in our society, or our little society and psyche, and that. It's important. But yeah, I mean, we need to be able to be humans towards each other and stop this bullshit, man, bro. It's getting out of hand. And I just want to say this also. If you are on the radio and your songs is being played and what, if it's working according to your business plan, salute for you. But the minute you say hip hop, there is going to be a problem. If it's not,
Yeah.
there's going to be a problem. If you need education, if you need education, then you, as somebody that says you're in hip hop, you need to reach out and have the conversation. I mean, I see people on Facebook that aren't what you would consider hip hoppers.
But they're more hip hop.
They're more hip hop than others, and they reach out. And the response they get, even like in conversation, and you just realize what the problem. There's a problem. We need to fix this problem. If we don't fix this problem as hip hoppers, then we are responsible for this problem. That's how straightforward it is. It's in anything in life. If you keep quiet, they're robbing somebody there, and you don't do anything to stop that situation, you're just as bad as that person who robbed that person. It's just like that.
I think in closing, I'll say to that is that we in the time where you don't have to you don't have to pay your dues kind of thing. We had to pay our dues to get to a certain point. You don't have to pay your dues. Like you can download software, make beats in your bedroom, whatever. Where back in the day it was like you had to have access to a studio. So there was less people coming out. There was more quality coming out. everything is sounding the same as template music at the moment. So, and that's just from the music standpoint. We're not going into the other elements even, but from that standpoint, it's like it's like the ease of access, the ease of getting in, makes you believe that you are it.
Nah, man, it's the video thing, man. And people see, oh, I'm on TV. I've made it.
Yeah.
And that's got
15 seconds of fame
nothing to
fades
do with it. But,
extremely
Yeah.
quickly.
look, I've recently, sorry, I know you want to wrap up. I've recently learned so much from a podcast that I've been watching, Super Duty Tough.
Oh yes,
Work,
yes, yes. You introduced me to that one.
Blueprint. And I'm like, this is hip hop.
Yeah.
This is hip hop. Look, some people don't like some of his podcasts.
Kaki, when he said like people, the MCs that they are supposed
Just to like and they don't.
and they label Talib Kweli. I was like, yeah. So
But my number 10 was, I feel the same as number 10.
what was number 10 now again?
Eminem.
Oh
I
yes,
don't
yes,
feel
yes,
the
yes, yes. But it's like because they are MCs, they feel they have to like that MCs.
But they
I
don't.
liked what he said about Talib Kweli, and I liked what he said about Eminem as well.
Yes.
Because I felt the same about it. It's like that's
And
it.
then everybody looked like you hit
Like
the,
you hate
like you hit the kid.
Oh, man,
When they
like
look
you
at you
hate-
like, how can you say Eminem? I was like, nah,
At the end of the
man.
day, we all have our own opinions, and we are allowed to have our own opinions.
Exactly. We all have assholes, don't we? You know what I'm saying? We all have assholes.
Yo, Nama Xam, thank you for coming onto the podcast. For
Appreciate it.
for
I
gracing
thank
us.
you. I think I've gotten like 3 years of out now.
No. I know there's more. We'll have you on again because I've still got like a couple of questions here, but we can't answer. We can't ask you that now.
Yeah.
We have a time limit.
All good.
But yeah, to the listeners out there, the viewers out there, thank you for staying with us for however long this podcast is so far. There was a lot of gems dropped as well. Take what you can, use it. What if it doesn't make sense to you, don't use it. In the words of Bruce Lee, well, not the exact words, but yeah. And till next time, with the Babbling Heads Podcast.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace to the gods.